Good morning. How is everyone doing? Okay, so let's start with a review like I normally do. So yesterday, there's some other things that I missed. Now, when price was coming down and it reached this level, I wasn't even thinking that this was the discounted zone, right? Like once price started retracing at this point, I should have immediately looked at this and think, okay, this was discount. And I did talk about price breaking up here, this past this point here, which was 218.75, and looking for the long position, which I got. But yeah, like I should have immediately recognized this and figured out the price was this was discount and price was gonna push higher. So if you do recall at the end of my stream yesterday, I talked about, in a perfect world where price would at least clear this high, right? This high of day. I'll give you a 5-to-1 return. My entry was right around here. And in order to get that, though, I would have had to hold through this pullback here. And so I would have entered at about, see, my entry was about 10:52. To get to that point would have been about 12:24. So at least an hour and 30 minutes at least. So sometimes, yeah, you're going to have to hold for that long of a period. I'm mostly a scalper, but I will hold. And you can also add on a second contract as well, right? Like this here is like another nice setup to push price higher. And I believe it was this 10-to-1. So you would have a 9-to-1 return, at least a 9-to-1 return had you held. And once again, we got this nice separation here, gap between the 50 and the 80. As price was moving higher. Now, anytime price starts going sideways like this, we get a pullback. The next area I'm looking for support is off the 15, the 80, which occurred here, and we still have this higher low, which is nice. But that's what you're technically looking for. If price does start going sideways, we're looking for that bounce off the EMA. And these areas I started drawing out afterwards, these zones, these demand zones. Now this one I did draw out. I took a sim trade here for a 1-to-1, and price came back down, and this is discount, right? And as you notice, after 6 p.m., this was discount. Price pushed up even higher. It's up 468.75. And I mean, I could have taken a trade after 6 p.m. for a 1-to-1. This would have been about 8 o'clock. Entry would have been about 8 o'clock. Unless I took this entry. Or 8:30, sorry, this would have been 8:30. This entry would have been about 8:17. And for those who didn't know, I did take a loss here. And then I missed this opportunity. So let's see what today holds. Currently, we are going And we're going down. I got this cross right here, and this looks like discount right now. So this zone was from yesterday, as you notice. I just stretched it all the way out here. It's still valid. I could look at an entry right here. That's 29,500 for a long position. And when we have this cross, well, I'm probably looking for a 1-to-1 if I take the entry. I'm just going to wait it out. And we'll see what price does. Now, price could move up and then come back once again. If this area holds up, I'll definitely look at taking an entry at 29,500. Mark out the pullbacks. Right now the MACD is below the zero, where I'd technically be looking for sell orders. However, this wouldn't stop me from taking a long position either, even though it's below there, right? It really depends what I'm seeing here if I'm going to make that decision. Let's take a quick look at the 5-minute. So I drew out this zone. We have this zone up here. So far, price has been getting into these zones and just breaking it. The 5-minute looks like. Now I did draw out this area as well. Now these single candles, they matter more often than not. So this one chose the bullish candle. Let's see what the 15-minute holds. I didn't draw out this area here. You notice I haven't been highlighting the gray color that I normally would, unless it's on the main chart that I trade off of. This is close to the 5-minute. Now it seems to be holding. Now, even if price got up here, right, it's one of those things, once again, you have to either think price will resist and push down, or price can go sideways and then eventually push up. I mean, I don't think I've had, or I've seen price bouncing off levels that I've drawn out, at least not this week at all. Even if I went back to, say, Monday, right? Like, we did get news at about 8:30 this morning, but nothing really came of it, which is right here. And it was red folder news as well, so anytime I'm seeing that, I'm expecting volatility to come in. I could target for a short position. Once again, I'm ready for that fake out too if it takes me out. This would definitely be the next level I would be targeting, which is 312 and a half. Seller, and this is going to be close to open, so we could get a quick pump down or even just a pump back up. A couple minutes away from open. I'm just going to bring this down to give me some breathing room. I do like having my orders ready. And again, if I'm not quick enough, I'll just either click the sell bid or the buy ask for the entry. And again, some of you might even just prefer to just hit the button for your entries as opposed to doing it the way I'm doing it. Now, if I don't get it on the level that I'm looking at, the price level, that's where you're going to have to move your stop loss. Either one tick up or one tick down, depending on where your entry is. Sometimes that literally is the difference. I mean, you'll lose an extra, $20 if it goes against you. That's not a big deal. And like I said, the distance between these levels is about 31 and a quarter. Price breaks up here, we're looking for price to come back, get support and push up. That's why I'll draw out these swing highs. I'm going to close this order. now this seems like it's discount, right? 468 and 3/4. I did say I'd be looking for a long position off this, which is 29,500. See if it gets the 1-to-1. And I believe it taps that, so no, it just missed it by 1 tick, so not quite. So completes the move. So this was discount. Enter at 29,500. You get your 1-to-1. So I had several chances here to put in an order, but I didn't. So the next order would have been up here, right? Like, and that's fine. See a pullback. So I'm going to eliminate this zone. That's a 2-to-1 return. I haven't seen a pullback that I like off the MNQ. So let's see what happens at this supply zone. Price could break through. So off the 5-minute could break through here and wick this area and then start retracing. That's what it's looking like right now off the 5-minute. Sorry, this is off the 15. My fault. Let's look at the 5-minute. Here's the 5-minute. So this was the zone that I drew out. Okay, so now we're at this level. Once again, price can break through here and proceed up. See, we get a pullback. Yeah, this was the entry, or this was the entry. I don't think I've taken a trade off any of my zones, not even yesterday. I guess to some degree I'm somewhat still second guessing myself when it comes to these zones. This will be one of the cleanest long positions. We hardly had any pullbacks. It's a 3-to-1 return right now. So once again, I mean, missing this area here, I can easily tell myself, I've missed an opportunity and force a trade, but I'm not going to do that. I did put in a buy order. Let's wait and see what's happening in this area. So we get a clean pullback. That should be my entry. good place in order for the order to come down and fill me. Take the order off. So I definitely should have taken this entry. Like, this is the setup I'm looking for. For some reason I didn't take the entry. Sometimes it's the fact that I did well yesterday and thinking, you know, you're due for a loss, but you can't think like that. You just got to keep trading the setup. And I think that probably played into my mind just a little bit there. And I definitely don't want to say I'm right as well if price goes against my position either, right? That's the 1-to-1. So with this being, this should have been my setup. At this point I can look for another trade, or I'll definitely call it a day. Right? Like, if you know your setup's there and you missed it, you can definitely just call it a day. But we'll see what else happens. As much as it pains me right now. So we get a rejection at this point. This could be discount. So remember when I said you've got to start analyzing the next zone, right? So the anticipation is once price gets to this zone, where's discount? Is it 656 and a quarter? Like, is that the entry short? Or is this the entry short of 625, right? If I'm looking at the zone and I'm not waiting for a pullback, then I'm definitely identifying one of these levels for a short position. Right now the MACD, its price is above the zero, so I definitely want to be cautious. And not only that, the past few days, even though price has hit the new highs, right, it's taken it out and continued moving higher. So let's see if we get any price exhaustion at this level. I'm also marking out the swing highs and swing lows off the M and Q as well. Price is still getting support off the 6 EMA. we're getting this gap right now happening off the 50 and the 80. This zone is pretty much done. However, let's see. Do a quick check. Okay, I don't see any. Yeah, like if there was a red candle anywhere here, I would definitely highlight that area off. Zone's gone. So this area that I just deleted, believe it or not, could also be a support area now. Right, so price could come down, tap into this area, and then push back up. So, that's how you have to look at it. I mean, I could just delete it, or I could look at it as a possibility of price bouncing off the zone versus just deleting it. It's an opportunity to possibly even look for a long position, right? This area right now is held up. I'll just extend it even further. So yeah, missed opportunities. Enter here would give me 5-to-1 return. This was an opportunity to go long. I did not take it. It's my fault. Now we look for the next opportunity. Buyers have stepped in, but notice how much resistance there is here as well. Let's see if they can push through that. I'll mark out any of the swing lows. Once again, if price comes below that, I'm looking at this as a resistance area to push price lower. I'll take this off for now. I'm just going to stretch this zone out. Alright, so this looks like it could be discount. 656.25 could be discount. If I was looking at an entry off the zone, I'm looking at 625. I'd definitely be targeting for the 1-to-1 at 593.75. Price closes above, I'll just move this down here. So this would have been entry short right here. As if I didn't wait for the candle to close, right? If I'm looking for the short position, I need this, yeah, I need these candles to close lower. And I definitely want to see more waking up here. Right now it's indecisive, right? There's a pullback off the MNQ, and entry would be here at 593 3/4. Or actually, no, it should have been here, actually, up at 625. That's where the pullback happened. So I would have definitely got the 1-to-1. I'd have taken that entry. Right, this would have given me the 1-to-1. Price breaks through this zone here, or I might see if it trades along this area and goes sideways. That could mean it's getting support and pushing up. However, we break through this zone, I'll just take it out, and it's no longer a valid zone, even though it was a supply zone. Right now I'll treat it as a demand zone. This is a combination I like. If it closes up here, this is a combination I like for price to go longer. Doesn't mean it'll always go long, just because you have this combination here, right? Whether this candle's inverted or just, your regular hammer, or this inverted hammer candle. Regardless, I like this for a long position. Looks like it could be getting support to go long. Looking at the 80 EMA and 50 EMA right now. So you who think I'm still attached to this trade that I missed, I'm not. I moved past it. Now I'm just looking for the next setup. If there's a setup that I like. I might look at putting in a sell order. No, the dangerous part here is I have that pullback, right? But we're at this level here where I said I'm using as a support zone. Oh, price wicked it. So I missed the entry. This pullback made me hesitate. Wow. So once again, another missed opportunity. So let's look at the 5-minute. So we got a pullback here. So now we could actually be trading between the zone up here and the zone down here, which isn't exactly a bad thing, right? Because then you can trade back up if the zone here holds up. And if I'd taken this trade, I definitely would have only been looking for the 1-to-1. Okay, I'm going to eliminate this. This wicked and close above, then I would still, the zone would still be validated. I definitely don't think there's anything off the 15. Yeah, because that would have been right here, right? Take this order off. Be nice to see no rejection here. But that didn't happen, so there was slight divergence. Like so minuscule that I didn't, like, you have to look. And so what I mean is, you have this opposite movement, right? And it's like you have to notice it. Sometimes it's like by the smallest of margins, right? Like that's what you're looking at. But once again, yeah, you have to think quick enough, right? I wasn't even looking, and if I was, that's such a small margin. But if that's what you saw, then that's can be part of the confluence in terms of making this decision to go short, right? especially at this level. Is at 625, like I said, right? And I don't want people to think too like my analysis doesn't always play out, right? Yes, it played out today here, right? And down here. I mean, I'm gonna have those days where you're right. And then you're gonna have those days where you're wrong. Now the days that you have it wrong, it'll make you second guess yourself, right? The days where you have it wrong. And on those days, especially if you're taking, say, 2 losses, 3 max, I would just shut it down at that point. I mean, I could target for a long position. I do have to be careful. I mean, I'd be looking at something like this in order to justify the position long, right? If it gets support somewhere around here. I mean, I have the 80 and the 50 right here, but it's kind of it's consolidating, which I'm not crazy about. However, a pivot up here could be signaling that the price is going to go higher. Because I definitely don't want it doing this, right? Like, I don't want that. Because then at that point it's a trap. I don't want price to be doing this, right? Right, this is what I don't want. So, and that can easily happen. Like if I'm still thinking, this position here is good to take a long off of, right? I don't know if I would hold for 2 to 1 if I did take an entry off here, just because we had some resistance here. Like I said, like this zone here was still good since yesterday, right? And that was at 2 p.m. And I came down at about 3:54 and started retracing at about 4:07, right? And here we are, this morning at the opportunity at about 9:13. When price starts going sideways like this, right? And even when I was talking about, once you start seeing candles that are higher low, right? Like it's creating this diagonal move here. You definitely want to target that long position. Okay, so we are now coming back to this area. price breaks here, I definitely target down here again. I mean, price can do this as well, right? Like it can. And then break up. Right, the price can do this. Right now, the sellers are still in control if I'm looking at the MNQ. When it comes to passing the prop firms, generally takes me, used to take me when I started out, I want to say at least 15 trading days. And as I got better, I was passing them within 10 days. Yeah, this one we're just waiting it out. Still in consolidation. Thought maybe there might be a pivot here to go lower off this pullback. I mean, we get a rejection right now off the 50 and the 80. However, we got these higher lows, right? So I got to be careful. Let's do a quick look. Just the 5 minute. going to do, I'm going to pull this back so we have another candle here that we can highlight. This one right here. There's really nothing above other than this zone. So switch to the 5. And I'll take the top of this green candle and the bottom of this red candle. I'll extend it. And in terms of low of day, this would be today's low of day. I'm going to pull this back. To have a pullback off the MNQ. I could use that to target for a long position. $6.25. Wear me a little down below the 50 or the 0 for the MACD. At this point, I said I'd be looking for the 1-to-1, so just to be clear, I'm not going off of this swing high. It's basically off a pullback off the MNQ. So I got the 1-to-1. I didn't want to hold because, like I said, I was concerned about this zone here. Like it could come tap this area and then retrace again, right? Now if it did come up and tap this area here, right, like this area here, what I would like to see is, say it comes up. And taps this area. I want to see it get support right off here, this area. And then come up here and push higher. Right, that's what I'd be looking for. But once again, right, I just was too concerned with this zone, so I mean, I missed out on a 2-to-1 return back here, right? Which is okay. I mean, the 1-to-1 is still great, especially if you're starting out. There's nothing wrong with that. It just means it'll take a little bit longer to pass the evaluation. See if this plays out the way I thought it would play out. Worst case scenarios, you're looking at probably a rejection. Like this, and then price just dumping. Right. Like this is the other scenario. A price can come up, tap it a second time, and then make the move down. So as long as you're aware and you're wanting to stay in the trade, then that's fine. This wasn't the pullback. For myself, I like drawing these areas out, or putting a line out for any pullback. That just helps me do a better job in terms of what I'm looking for, and then my expectations, right? So, but if you don't have to draw these lines out, and you can just take your entry. Right now, it's just a habit of mine of drawing it out. Once again, if you have any questions, you can type it in the comments section. There's no such thing as a dumb question. Believe me, there have been times where I've been in college where I needed stuff dumbed down for me, but I did give them my best work when I actually understood what the prof was asking for. So once again, if there's anything you don't understand, just ask. Trading my strategy, I think I should be at 1800. So I would be 1200, but I'm at 1700. So I'm 1300 away from passing the eval. And that was just due to taking some of those losses at the start of this challenge. Price doesn't do anything within the next couple minutes. I'm gonna call it a day. So anytime you're trading, whether it's the NQ or the ES, whichever instrument, I'd like for there to be an opportunity between, like I said, probably 8 and 12, right? That's your trading window. So you could even trade pre-market. And what I mean by pre-market is before the market opens at 9:30. So if you're seeing something at 8 or 7:30 or 7, whatever it is, you're on the chart. Yeah, you can take entries prior to market open. Sometimes I will, but most of the times I don't. But I will take trades even right at open at 9:30. Like this area here, I would take the entry right at 9:30, even though we have price moving really fast. I'll still take the entry. Right, if there was a clean pullback, I would take the entry. But it would have been nice had it happened here, say 9:30, and then kind of moved down to this section here, and then slowly worked its way up, then I definitely would have taken the entry right at 29,500. Mind you, I've yet to take an entry off any of the zones I've drawn, which isn't good. You know, I'm leaving a lot on the table, as you can see. Like I said, this is a 5-to-1 return, unless you're getting it right at 468.75, then 6-to-1 return, right? And even if you go back and you look at some of my previous videos, yeah, I've not taken, you know, trades off the zones I've marked up, which have proved to be valuable. And it's something I definitely have to get better at. Knowing that I'll definitely be taking losses as well. But that's the only way to get better, right? And not only that, like I'm trading the eval. It's not like I'm actually trading my own money, which you can open your own personal account and trade your own money. But from my experience, it's better to just do the prop firm challenges and pass the evaluation, because at that point you're only investing, depending on which package you get, anywhere between 90 to, I don't know, maybe $150, depending on which package and discounts you're getting. Generally, I'm looking for a 40% discount or better. 50% is great if you can get it, and obviously 90% is awesome, which I'm not sure if Apex is still doing those, but I believe they are. So that's another prop firm to look at. They've changed their rules where now it's compatible to other prop firms. All right, looks like price is building for a break upwards. My earlier analysis was I thought price would trade between this level up here and down here, which can still happen. And then a breakout might occur closer to 3 p.m. if it does, whether it's down or up. So that would be the time I'd be targeting, somewhere between 3:30 and maybe even 3:50. But prior to that, price could still come up here and push down. Like this could be an area also of support. Do a quick check on the 5-minute. So, and this candle's rather big. I might look at the 1-minute. So this would be what I would be looking at here, right? This zone is a possibility. Let's check the 1-minute. There's something else there. So this, if that zone's too big, I could look at this zone. Just remember though, it would be a missed opportunity if you did. Let me pull this back, see where that candle actually opens and closes. So I would probably look at the bottom, the bottom of this wick and probably the top of this wick. So this red candle combined with this green candle, or you know what, let's just take this green candle here. Make it easier on myself. So this is what I'd probably be looking off the 1-minute, right? That's my 5-minute. This is my 1-minute. I'll go back and I'll apply it here. It's my 5 minute. And sometimes these zones are just so big that I'll go down to the 1 minute, right? Even if and if it's the 15 that's too big, I go down to the 5 minute. So what I could do is I could take off this 5 minute. So this is what I'm left with. Once again, we're getting these higher lows develop. Right now the buyers are in control. Price moved up. I'm definitely looking for the 50 or the 80 to come up and provide support. Like I said earlier in the video, right? So things to think about anytime you're in a long position or in a short position. See how this plays out. Then I'm gonna call it a day. So, as you saw yesterday, when it's this far apart, I said I don't like taking the long position. I do have a pullback off the MNQ, which I would take this as another entry. Like it's available off the MNQ, right? But it goes to show you can still. I mean, if you're going to identify this as the reason why you entry, then write that out in your journal, right? If it goes back on you, so you can go back and look at how many times it had work or how many times it didn't work. Now, my entry was here, so I would have had to hold through this level too, right? Like my stop loss was here. Oh no, sorry, my entry was here, so my stop loss was down here, so it came close to it. Right? That's almost like yesterday where I think it did come down to the line. So you have to use your judgment. What you can do is you can identify this candle and put it just slightly below there, right? I mean, you probably lose probably $40 if it came down and tapped that. So an extra $40 off your initial loss. See if price makes a higher high and makes a new high of day. Be good to see support come off this area right here. Price does come back. Ooh. Does it fill that? No, doesn't quite fill it. The heartbreaker is it gets to this point, it's one tick away and it just retraces against you. That will happen. don't be afraid to zoom in and zoom out of the charts, right? To give yourself a better view of where price can go to. Obviously, right here, you can't really predict where it's gonna go to this, except this high, because this is actually the new high. This white line that I drew out, this is the new high. At that point, there's no point in terms of looking to the left for where price can retrace from or reject off of. Let's see if it fills the move to 687.5. Oh, this trade, had I stayed in it, would have taken me 1022, depending if this gets filled, of course. It'll take over, that would be close to almost 40 minutes. That would have been a 40-minute trade. $10.22. Right now it's been at least 20 minutes already. Like I said before, right, if you don't like what you're seeing, just close the trade and take what the market gave you. Okay, so it does fill it, and now we're at the new high of day. So that's what it would have taken for a 2-to-1 trade. What I could have done is I could have taken another entry here, right? So price gets support here, and it starts pushing back up, right? That 50 MA gets support off here. We have these lower highs. Price comes up here. I could put another entry here to go long. I'll risk the 1-to-1 that I got, which you can do. All right. So with that being said, thanks for joining me, and I will see everyone next Tuesday, I believe. So have a good day. Bye.